Law Media on YouTube. I'm your guy, Sports Law, broadcasting live on location today from Wallace State Community College in Huntsville, Alabama. Today, we will be doing the top 25 picks, my perspective. In this live stream, we will look at who is in the AP poll top 25. This poll will be the one used in discussion since that one has been around the longest. Yes, I am aware of other polls used to determine championships, but we will use the AP poll as our focal point of discussion. After looking at who's in the AP poll top 25, we will then look at who will be playing within the top 25 for matchups. We will then dig deeper and look what the Vegas pros are saying, what the point spread or margin of victory will be. The margin of victory is the amount of points they believe the winner will win by. We will then look at the over-under. The over-under is the total combined points the pros believe the total points scored will be for the game in question. If I agree or disagree with the pros, I'll do the best I can to explain my reasoning. After this, I will go into a segment called the Game of Intrigue. In this Game of Intrigue, neither team is ranked within the top 25. I will do everything I can to find things relating both schools. This can be sports-related or not. After the relation thing, we will do like the top 25 and look at what Vegas has to say regarding the margin of victory and the over-under. Again, if I agree or disagree with the pros, I will again do the best I can to explain my reasoning. Can y'all hear me out there in YouTube land? All right, so in the poll this week for the AP poll top 25, we have number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Oregon, number 3, Miami and Florida, number 4, Ole Miss, number 5, Oklahoma, number 6, Texas A&M, number 7, Penn State, number 8, Indiana, number 9, Texas, number 10, Alabama, number 11, Texas Tech, number 12, Georgia, number 13, LSU, number 14, Iowa State, number 15, Tennessee, number 16, Vanderbilt, number 17, Georgia Tech, number 18, Florida State, number 19, Missouri, number 20, Michigan, number 21, Notre Dame, number 22, Illinois, number 23, BYU, number 24, Virginia, number 25, Arizona State. All right, so for the top 25 matchups this week for Week 6, which the games will be between today, September 30th through October 5th of 2025. On October 3rd, 2025, you have number 23 BYU versus West Virginia. All other games within the top 25 will be played on October 4th, 2025. And hello to you, Lunar. I appreciate you joining me today. For the games on October 4th, you have number 12, Georgia versus Kentucky. You have number 14, Iowa State versus Cincinnati. You have number 20, Michigan versus Wisconsin. You have number 22, Illinois versus Purdue. Number 7, Penn State versus UCLA. Number 9, Texas versus Florida. Number 10, Alabama versus number 16, Vanderbilt. Number 21, Notre Dame versus Boise State. Number 24, Virginia versus Louisville. Number 5, Oklahoma versus Kent State. Number 11, Texas Tech versus Houston. You have number 1, Ohio State versus Minnesota. You have number 3, Miami versus number 18, Florida State. You have number 6, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. Let's see. I may have missed one here, and if I did, I'll do a video on it later. But from what I understand, number 2, Oregon, number 4, Ole Miss, number 8, Indiana, number 13, LSU, number 15, Tennessee, number 19, Missouri, and number 25, Arizona State, all have bye weeks, meaning no game are scheduled this week. And later on in this broadcast, we will go over the Game of Intrigue. I think I may have missed one for a top 25 matchup, and if I do, I'll do a separate video just with that pick for that game if that is in question like that. So, anyway, let's dig a little deeper now, shall we? The first game we're going to look at this week is number 23, BYU versus West Virginia. This game is scheduled to be played October 3rd, 2025. Hello to you, to everyone who's come in here. Joseph, Maruna, thank you very much. How are you doing, Rich? Glad that you're here. Anyway, this first game that we're going to look at again is number 23, BYU versus West Virginia. Yes, I just gave you one, Rich. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. The game is scheduled to be played October 3rd, 2025. In this game, the pros favor BYU to defeat West Virginia by 18.5 or 19 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49. Looking how West Virginia did last week is like finding moldy bread. The offense for West Virginia did terrible and could not get anything to work in all areas, especially in the run game. The long pass and short pass game was not even there. Defense was also terrible due to lack of perimeter and holding the line, along with red zone protection, and that was non-existent. The sad thing is they have communication issues, which they should not be having. Let's see. 10 is the common denominator, resulting from 10 points scored in losing efforts in 2 of the 3 games they have lost. I see West Virginia not doing well against BYU. BYU had a struggle win versus Colorado and had to come back from behind to do so. Offense and defense on all fronts was below average. This type of win is hard to figure out. BYU did have tough teams, so I'll give them that. There isn't much left else to say regarding this game. BYU does look better than West Virginia in the game, and for these reasons, I'm going to agree with the pros on having BYU to win this game, but I disagree on the margin of victory. My prediction is that BYU wins the game by 14 points, and I'm going over the 49. Hello, Doobie. How are you doing today? No, we're actually talking college football right now. What we're doing in this stream is we're going over my picks for the top 25 college football picks. I went over who's in the AP poll top 25. I went over who the matchups are, and then I'm going to discuss those games. I'm going to look at what Vegas is saying regarding the margin of victory and the over/under, and if I agree or disagree with them, I'm going to do the best I can to explain myself. No, that's okay. It's American football, but imagine American college football. And thank you for joining me even from Germany. I do appreciate it. No problem, Explorer. I appreciate it. Anyway, let's see. I picked BYU to win the game by 14 points, and I'm going to go over the 49. Next game we're going to look at this. Oh, wait. All other games discussed today will be scheduled to be played on October 4th of 2025. So the next game that we're going to look at this week is number 12, Georgia versus Kentucky. In this game, the pros favor Georgia to defeat Kentucky by 20.5 or 21 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49. Kentucky is below average on offense on all fronts. Rushing, short, and long pass plays have not been successful. They end up having 3 and out very often. At least the special teams can punt well. The problem is if you can prevent other teams from scoring from the result of the punt. Kentucky is not good on defense because of this. Red zone protection is important, but they don't have that either. This same issue looks to continue this week. Georgia has their moments when they look good with potential, but then they fall flat. Georgia did play tough team last week, and the result was average. I would go below average, but because of lack of scoring late in the game, it brings them to average. At times, offense and defense looked good on all fronts. Other times, it was flat. In this game, yes, it was a conference game, but Kentucky is not as strong as Alabama was last week. I also believe Kentucky will not be able to keep up with Georgia. For these reasons, I do believe Georgia gets the win, as the pros predict, but I disagree with the margin of victory. My prediction is Georgia wins the game by 14 points over Kentucky, and I'm going over the 49. Hey, no problem. I appreciate all the support and stuff, and yes, I am a small channel compared to other people that's talking and stuff, so thank you. I appreciate it. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 14, Iowa State versus Cincinnati. In this game, the pros favor Cincinnati to defeat Iowa State by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 52.5 or 53. Cincinnati had a struggle win over notable opponent Kansas. Offense did very well early in the game, but late in the game, not so much. Offense on passing, the long passes did okay but needs work. Short passing needs to be executed quicker to get results. If they fix this, though, providing good quarterback protection, it looks to be good and okay. Defense did a good job in preventing teams from winning late in the game. I would grade the defense barely below average due to high amount of scoring allowed. Iowa State is generally good with defense and protecting the perimeter. I noticed some cracks in the way they tried to protect the red zone area in coverage, and it's possible that same problem shows up in this game. Offense is okay, but runs on fumes late in the fourth for lack of 60-minute play. They run out of gas and coast. Offense plays from both sides should keep this game close. I also believe that Iowa State is a bit overrated. I think at times they get cocky and they think they can just run the table. I'm not buying into that. I think due to the cracks I talked about earlier, this will be a problem. For these reasons, I will agree on the pros on this game. Cincinnati defeats Iowa State by 3 points, and I'm going to go under the 53. All right, next game we're going to look at this week is number 20, Michigan versus Wisconsin. In this game, the pros favor Michigan to defeat Wisconsin by 16.5 or 17 points. The over-under is 42.5 or 43. Wisconsin last week lost to a team they should not have lost to. Everything on offense and defense was terrible. On the pass plays, both short and long could not connect, and defense downright sucked, protecting the line, the perimeter, and had zero red zone protection. Sad thing is, these issues seem likely to continue this week, since their opponent, Michigan, is generally much tougher than Maryland. Michigan is coming off the bye week, ready to rumble, especially in their struggle win versus Nebraska. Michigan looks much tougher than Wisconsin. Michigan has defense that is hard to stop and above average on offense, especially with the rush and short pass plays. If they do well on the long pass, also it can and will be issue for Wisconsin. For these reasons, I do agree with the pros having Wisconsin losing to Michigan, but I disagree on the margin of victory. My prediction: Michigan defeats Wisconsin by 14 points. I will go over the 43. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 22, Illinois versus Purdue. In this game, the pros favor Illinois to defeat Purdue by 9.5 or 10 points. Purdue football is terrible on offense due to not being able to do well with long or short passing. The only saving grace on offense is the fact they can run the ball well when given the opportunity, if they get the opportunity, which they may or may not get. Defense is also terrible due to allowing too many points to be scored. The terrible also comes from lack of protecting the line with perimeter and having zero concept of what red zone protection is. I do believe some of this gets worked on, but not enough to beat Illinois. Purdue does have tendency to sometimes offer glimmer of hope at the late part of the game. Illinois does okay against weak opponents, not so much against the tough one. Illinois has issues with struggle, and it's real. The offense looks average with things to work on for both passing and rushing. Defense is there, but sometimes I wonder what's going on. Sometimes they do well in the red zone protection as well as the perimeter, and other times nothing works. Reasonably, they do protect the line of scrimmage, but it usually scrapes by and does good things sometimes. Illinois, I still believe they may be overrated on the ranking, but this game may be closer than people realize, due again to the chaos Purdue causes sometimes late in the game. With these thoughts, I'm going to agree with the pros for this game. Illinois defeats Purdue by 10 points. The over-under is 55.5 or 56. I will go under the 56. Next game we're going to look at today, or this week, is number 7, Penn State versus UCLA. In this game, the pros favor Penn State to defeat UCLA by 25.5 or 26 points. The over-under is 50.5 or 51. UCLA football right now is absolutely terrible. 10 is the common denominator in the fact they scored 10 points in 2 of their losses. Offense is not able to effectively get down the field, regardless if it's rushing or passing. They try to get things going late in the game, and by then it usually is a little bit too late. Defense is terrible, but did manage to keep other teams from getting out of hand with points scored. Offense or defense in all areas do not execute plays well, and it seems they have communication issues and disconnected from reality while the game goes on. Penn State has slightly below average offense, mainly due to late game situations. Those issues should work better for this game. Defense normally is stellar, but I will list it as average due to the overtime loss. Had it not been for the turnover, I do believe it may have been a different outcome. Not much else to say about this game. This game, Penn State proves to me to be the better team for this game versus UCLA. With these thoughts, I will agree with the pros on this game. Penn State will defeat UCLA by 26 points. I'm going over the 51. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 9, Texas versus Florida. Florida can't catch a break. Their offense was downright terrible and barely scored against Miami in Florida. Everything that could go wrong did for Florida, both on offense and defense. Nothing was successful, and they had to punt the ball way too many times. A team historically known for having stellar defense looks flatter than a pancake overcooked and burned. Offense is running on flat tires. This trend looks to continue in the game versus Texas. Texas right now is stellar on offense and on defense as well. The pass rush looks amazing, including when they run the RPO. Defense protects everything well, which includes the line, the perimeter, and in the red zone. I look for this trend to continue for Texas this week. Not much else to say. The pros in this game favor Texas to defeat Florida by 6.5 or 7 points. I truly do not think Florida has good defense on this game. I agree with the pros favoring Texas to win, but I disagree with the margin. My thoughts are that Texas will defeat Florida by 10 points. The over-under is 43.5 or 44. I will go over the 44. Next game we're going to look at today will be this week number 10, Alabama versus number 16, Vanderbilt. In this game, the pros favor Alabama to defeat Vanderbilt by 10.5 or 11 points. The over-under is 57.5 or 58. Vanderbilt is the number 16 team in the country, and Alabama is the number 10 team in the country. Let's see. Vanderbilt is doing very well so far in this 2025 college football season. Offense looks good, especially with the short to medium range passing. The rush is okay, but needs work. Long passing isn't common for Vandy. That too also needs work. Defense is unpredictable, but it works. It's hard to classify it, but I will go slightly above average even for Vanderbilt standards. The thing is, Vandy hasn't had to face the brick wall defense of what Alabama football is known for. Alabama has above average defense, which showed in the game versus Georgia. Alabama does need to work on the long passing, but everything else in offense looks above average. On paper, Alabama looks to be the better team. Vandy is playing better than usual, even for Vandy standards. This will keep the game close. The home field advantage will help Alabama in this game, but still could be a close game. For these reasons, I do believe Alabama wins the game, but I disagree with the margin of victory. My prediction is that Alabama will defeat Vanderbilt by 7 points. I will go under the 58. Well, hello there, Carmen. How are you doing today? Glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate that very much. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 21, Notre Dame versus Boise State. In this game, Notre Dame is favored to defeat Boise State by 20.5 or 21 points. The over-under is 65.5 or 66. Boise State has common denominator of 14, which is the amount of points opponents in 2 games scored in which Boise State won. Boise State is in known weaker conference and should do well within their conference. Boise State has good offense and defense on all avenues against weaker conference. Boise State has a tough challenge against Notre Dame. Notre Dame has beaten opponents with tough conferences, and they are strong, and they are the stronger team. Offense and defense gives teams they play trouble. I don't have much else to say on this game, but on paper, Notre Dame will be tough for Boise State to handle. For these reasons, I will agree with the pros in this game. Notre Dame defeats Boise State by 21 points. I will go under the 64. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 24, Virginia versus Louisville. In this game, the pros favor Louisville to defeat Virginia by 7.5 or 8 points. The over-under is 62.5 or 63. Louisville has a common denominator of 17, which was the number of opponents scored against Louisville in 2 of their wins. Louisville has been average in offense and defense. They do a decent job on passing, especially in the medium range situations. Rushing is decent and use it well to get down the field. On defense, they're reasonably good in protecting the line, the perimeter, and red zone. All of those areas do have room in order to improve where and when they are needed. Louisville is good at adapting to conditions on the field as things change. Virginia has a common denominator of 48. In winning 2 games with 48 points from offense, Virginia did upset Florida State last week. This despite below average performance on defense due to too many points scored. The offense looked decent at times. The offense looked decent, but at times it was very sloppy. I see this continuing, added with the hangover effect of a big win last week. Virginia will keep the game close, but I do not think they will win the game. I do agree with the pros on having Louisville to win this game, but I disagree on the margin of victory. My prediction is Louisville wins the game by 3 points over Virginia. I will go under the 63. It literally will come down to who has the ball at the end of the game. Despite this, I stick to my original prediction. All right. Y'all are still here with me today? I appreciate it. Anyway, the next game we're going to look at this week will be number 5 Oklahoma versus Kent State. In this game, the pros favor Oklahoma to defeat Kent State by 45.5 or 46 points. The over-under is 53.5 or 54. Kent State football, despite being in weak conference, has been playing powerhouse teams in college football and not doing well against them. Within the conference, they are not that good a football team. Offense can't drive the ball down the field, whether it be from the rush or passing. Defense is non-existent and is played so bad that even Skeletor doesn't want any part of it. Oklahoma, in this case, would be He-Man. Oklahoma right now has average offense, both in passing and rushing. Defense is decent, despite average showing last week against conference opponent. Defense in this game will dance all over Kent State. Offense will score points quickly. Despite the fact some believe Kent State scores points in this game, my thoughts is that is highly unlikely. I'm thinking it's also highly possible Kent State leaves this game with a 0 goose egg. So with these thoughts, I do agree with the pros on this game. Oklahoma defeats Kent State by 46 points. I will go over the 54. Then the pros favor Texas Tech to defeat Houston by 10.5 or 11 points. The over-under is 50.5 or 51. Houston has common denominator of 27, which is how many points they scored in 2 of their wins. Houston is not known for having success in college football. So far, looking at their last game, they had a struggle win against a weak opponent. Offense was average in all areas of offense. Below average in defense due to the amount losing the game. They also didn't have good protection of the red zone. This style of play usually results in losing effort. It just surprises me a win came from this style of play. Texas Tech plays football with organized chaos style of play, and it works well for them. 14 is a common denominator for Texas Tech. Both were wins, but the losing team scored 14 points. Offense does well on up-tempo passing on both short and long passing. The rush is okay, but needs work to be effective. Defense does decent on red zone protection and holding the line. Work is needed for improvement of the perimeter. Despite this, Texas Tech is the better team in this game. For these reasons, I'm going to agree with the pros on this one. Texas Tech defeats Houston. Texas Tech defeats Houston by 11 points. I will go over the 51. Next game we're going to look at this week is number 1, Ohio State versus Minnesota. In this game, the pros favor Ohio State to defeat Minnesota by 23.5 or 24 points. The over-under is 44.5 or 45. Minnesota in their last game played was average on offense in all areas of passing and rushing. They were below average on defense since their style of play nearly caused them to lose the game. They did not protect the line very well, but managed to hold off the opponent. Below average also comes from allowing opponent to almost score way too many points. This struggle win did happen, but the struggle is real. This struggle, when playing teams like Ohio State, most likely will not bode well. I see this struggle continuing this week. Ohio State had above average defense due to lack of points scored. The offense was barely average since they struggled for most of the game to do anything. They did get out of the jam by doing better late in the game, hence the barely average. I do feel this struggle may still be there, but it won't be as bad this week. For these reasons, I agree with the pros having Ohio State to win the game, but I disagree with the margin of victory. My prediction is that Ohio State wins the game by 15 points over Minnesota. I will go over the 45. All right, next game we're going to look at this week will be number 3, Miami of Florida versus number 18, Florida State. In this game, the pros favor Miami of Florida to defeat Florida State by 4.5 or 5 points. The over-under is 54.5 or 55. Florida State was terrible on offense due to communication issues and not running the ball enough. The short passing was good, but everything else on offense was terrible. Defense, no need to go over that train wreck. It was awful on all fronts. If you're going to have a bad game, then have it fairly early in the season, which is what exactly happened to Florida State. Outside of this mishap of the game, the defense looked to be decent. Miami of Florida is doing everything right in all avenues of offense and defense. They are running on all cylinders and has already defeated 2 teams ranked within the top 25. Miami is the real deal and looks to capitalize on it. They are better than what everyone is giving them credit for. Due to history of Florida State playing decent defense, this should be a close game. For these reasons, I will agree with the pros on this game. Miami of Florida defeats Florida State by 5 points. I will go over the 55. Last game we're going to look at within the top 25. Actually, it looks like Georgia Tech is also off this week for a bye week. But if that ends up being wrong, I will do a separate video later and go over my thoughts for the Georgia Tech game. The last game within the top 25 we're going to look at for this live stream is number 6, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. In this game, Texas A&M is favored by the pros to defeat Mississippi State by 14.5 or 15 points. The over-under is 55.5 or 56. Mississippi State offense is below average due to losing the game by not scoring enough points. Everything looked good as average on the rush and pass plays, but fell below average due to the loss. The defense is average with hints of below average since the game went to overtime, but still the loss came. If a game goes to overtime, I believe both are equally matched at that point, and it just comes down to the battle of the wills. Offense and defense does need work to do better. Do I think even if improvements are made, it will help them defeat Texas A&M? No. Texas A&M plays good defense and makes it tough for anyone to score. This comes with very good protection of the red zone, the line, and the perimeter. Offense scores quickly and will cause things to get out of hand quickly if not watched or carefully watching what's going on. Texas A&M is above average on both offense and defense and is very hard to stop. With these thoughts, I agree with the pros of this game. Texas A&M defeats Mississippi State by 15 points. I will go over the 56. Just a reminder, number 2, Oregon, number 4, Ole Miss, number 8, Indiana, number 13, LSU, number 15, Tennessee, I believe number 17, Georgia Tech, number 19, Missouri, and number 25, Arizona State, all have bye week this week, which means no games are scheduled this week for them. Now that we have dug deeper within the top 25 matchups, we now move into the segment called the Game of Intrigue. In this Game of Intrigue, neither team is in the top 25. I will find things relating to both schools. After talking about how the schools relate to one another, we will do just like in the top 25. We will look at say regarding the margin of victory and the over-under. If I agree or disagree with the pros, I will do the best I can to explain my reasoning. The Game of Intrigue this week is South Alabama versus Troy. Both of these teams are not in the top 25. Both universities are located in the southern part of Alabama. Both universities have strong emphasis on health sciences. Both universities are at least 60 years old. Both universities participate in the Sun Belt Conference for Division I within the NCAA. Okay, now we see how the two teams are related to one another for the game of intrigue. Let's dig deeper. In this game, the pros favor Troy to defeat South Alabama by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 47.5 or 48. For South Alabama, a couple of numbers ring out like denominators. The first one is 38, which represents points scored in two games. One was for a win, the other a loss. The other number is 31. Both times it ended in a loss. One was for how many points South Alabama scored in the loss as a result of the loss. The other one is how many points the opponent scored on the South Alabama when they lost the game. Outside of this, the offense is very bad and can't move the ball well down the field on rush or pass plays. Defense does not protect the line, the perimeter, or red zone well. The only saving grace for South Alabama is special teams, which has their moments but still needs work. Special teams save South Alabama from downright sucking, but it is a saving grace but still quite bad. Troy has average offense with better rush options than passing ones. Defense is subpar at best due to struggling on the fact that opponents almost win games they should not be struggling against. Defense does need work on filling in holes that open up on the field during plays that happen in real time. Not much else to say. For these reasons, I will agree with the pros on this one. Troy defeats South Alabama by 3 points. I will go over the 48. We have now looked at who's playing. We've looked at the top 25 with the matchups and the game of intrigue. But before I move on, let's summarize everything for right now, shall we? So, in summary, the Associated Press top 25 poll for this week is as follows. Oh, and hello to you, Carbon. I appreciate you joining me. The top 25 poll this week. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, Miami and Florida. Number 4, Ole Miss. Number 5, Oklahoma. Number 6, Texas A&M. Number 7, Penn State. Number 8, Indiana. Number 9, Texas. Number 10, Alabama. Number 11, Texas Tech. Number 12, Georgia. Number 13, LSU. Number 14, Iowa State. Number 15, Tennessee. Number 16, Vanderbilt. Number 17, Georgia Tech. Number 18, Florida State. Number 19, Missouri. Number 20, Michigan. Number 21, Notre Dame. Number 22, Illinois. Number 23, BYU. Number 24, Virginia. Number 25, Arizona State. Now, the top 25 matchups are as follows. On October 3rd, 2025, number 23, BYU versus October 4th of 2025. You'll have number 12, Georgia versus Kentucky. Number 14, Iowa State versus Cincinnati. Number 20, Michigan versus Wisconsin. Number 22, Illinois versus Purdue. Number 7, Penn State versus UCLA. Number 9, Texas versus Florida. Number 10, Alabama versus number 16, Vanderbilt. Number 21, Notre Dame versus Boise State. Number 24, Virginia versus Louisville. Number 5, Oklahoma versus Kent State. Number 11, Texas Tech versus Houston. Number 1, Ohio State versus Minnesota. Number 3, Miami versus number 18, Florida State. Number 6, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. Again, I believe Georgia Tech is off this week, and they have a bye week, and they're the number 17 team. But if I find later that they do not have an off week and they have a game, I'll do a separate video later. But outside of that, you have number 2, Oregon versus number 4, Ole Miss. Number 2, Oregon. Number 4, Ole Miss. Number 8, Indiana. Number 13, LSU. Number 15, Tennessee. Number 19, Missouri. And number 25, Arizona State, along with possibly number 17, Georgia Tech, all have bye weeks, meaning they do not have a game scheduled this week. Now, excuse me for that. All right. So, now that we've looked at all that, let's look at who else is playing in college football this week. And there is going to be no additional analysis on this. On October 2nd, which is coming up soon, you have Sam Houston versus New Mexico State. October 3rd, you have Western Kentucky versus Delaware. Charlotte versus South Carolina. New Mexico versus San Jose State. Colorado State versus San Diego State. Those will take place on October 3rd. All remaining games scheduled will take place October 4th of 2025. The games for October 4th include Boston College versus Pittsburgh, Clemson versus North Carolina, Kansas State versus Baylor, Air Force versus Navy, Army versus UAB, Ball State versus the University of Ohio, Wake Forest versus Virginia Tech, UTSA or the University of Texas in San Antonio versus Temple, Campbell versus NC State, Western Michigan versus Massachusetts, Oklahoma State versus Arizona, Washington versus Maryland, UL Monroe versus Northwestern, Oregon State versus Appalachian State, Florida International versus UConn, James Madison versus Georgia State, Central Michigan versus Akron, Eastern Michigan versus Buffalo, Miami and Ohio versus Northern Illinois, Michigan State versus Nebraska, Texas State versus Arkansas State, Coastal Carolina versus Old Dominion, UNLV versus Wyoming, Florida Atlantic versus Rice, Colorado versus TCU, Kansas versus UCF, Tulsa versus Memphis, Duke versus California, and Nevada versus Fresno State. So there you have it. That is my top 25 college football picks, my perspective for week 6. We went over the AP poll for the top 25. We went over the top 25 matchups and the game of intrigue. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? In regard to going live, you have to meet a certain requirement on YouTube. You have to have a certain number of subscribers, and then once you get that certain number of subscribers, then you have to select the option on your YouTube channel to do live streams. But you have to, I don't know what that minimum number is. It's changed since I started doing lives, but generally that's how you. Rowan, for the question, I do appreciate it. Ricky, I appreciate you too. Thank you for joining me. Anyway, we do these college football live streams once a week, generally on Tuesdays. The time could vary between each Tuesday depending on things that's going on at the time. Just another bit of announcement, we will have some live streaming going on where there'll be live competitions going on, but those will be announced as, at the proper times. We will have another live stream. I'm not sure when we'll have the next one, but I will let you know as soon as I do know. What do you need help with? What do you need help with, love? Or I love 67. And hello, Derek. How are you today? What do you need help with? I love 67. Well, anyway, I do thank you for joining me for this live stream. I am broadcasting live on location. I'm actually in between the Bailey Center and the Student Center on the campus of Wallace State College in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm kind of in a shady area. There's a beach volleyball court behind me, and there's a couple of gazebos, but I'm on a college campus broadcasting live today, and I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you for joining me today. And also, please hit the like button, please hit the comment button, please hit the share button, please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware when I'm doing these live streams, when I have sports action videos, when I have sports education videos, again, when I broadcast live, or when I have breaking news in the sports world. Also, if you wish to subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. There are two ways you can do that. One, you can go to www.youtube.com, the slash symbol, the at symbol, SPORTSLOV. That is your web page to go to get you directly to the YouTube channel. You can also go on the YouTube search tab and type in Sportslov Media. That's two words, SPORTSLOV as the first word, media, MEDIA, as the second word in the search tab, and you'll know it's me because I have Sportslov Media burned into a basketball as my avatar. I'm also on Twitter X. My handle there is at BobAmin16. That's the at symbol, BOBAMIN 16. Thank you very much, Harry. I'm glad to see that you came in here. Movie Facts, I hope that you also have a wonderful day. So while I've got y'all here and everything, I've already done my bit and everything. So is there anything in college sports, college football this week that you want to talk about? Anything at all? I mean, I've gone over the games and stuff, but it'd be nice to hear your thoughts on things. So anyway, I have my teams I pull for and everything. But for the college football live streams, again, these will be on Tuesdays, but we will do this every week during the regular season. And, there's a lot of games in the regular season. We will also do it for the conference championship playoff, the conference championships, which are usually held the first week of December. We'll do this for the Army-Navy game. We will do this for the playoff games through the semifinals, and then we will also do the bowl games. I will have a special live stream also for the national championship football game week whenever that occurs for college football. So you have plenty of opportunity to catch these live streams that will be once a week, generally on Tuesdays. Now, if there needs to be an exception to that, I will let y'all know by doing a post on my dashboard if need be. But hello, Harry. For all those that came in, thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate Explore the Fun. I don't appreciate the spamming, but I do appreciate you coming in. Doobie, I thank you for I thank you for coming in, and I'm just trying to grow just like everybody else. Carmen, John, yo. I know I may have said something to you earlier, but yo. So, anyway, let's see. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? College football wise, if you have a question regarding college football, let me know, because I'm going to be here for a minute or so longer. I'm sorry about the fogginess of how everything is right now, but anyway, thank you for joining in for this live stream today. I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I am broadcasting live on location from Wallace State Community College in Huntsville, Alabama, and I thank you very much for your attention today. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Sports Love Media signing out. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.